I want to talk about this movie. It's old, but I want to talk about it. You guys need to see it. It's insanity. All right, but you know the drill. We're getting into movies, so it's the coming attractions. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all that are watching right at this moment, have you guys seen a little movie? Came out in the early 2000s. I do think maybe like 2000, possibly 2001. I might need to look it up. It's called The Skulls. Paul Walker. I'm gonna look it up right now. The Skulls. Paul Walker. It came out in 2000. Came out in 2000. I don't know why I said it like that. The Skulls, starring Paul Walker, R.I.P. Rest in pieces, brother. And Joshua Jackson, the College Secret Society movie. Yes! Okay, right away, plot problem number one is that the Skulls are the most secret of secret organizations. They're so secret that the laws of the United States of America don't apply to members of the Skulls. It doesn't apply to them, and they're so secretive. It's a very prestigious invite. They're not just. They're one of many secret organizations, and the Skulls is at the tippity tip top. The opening text scroll says it's like there's a society so secret, brother, you never even heard of it. Let me tell you something, brother. You ain't never heard of those Skulls? You're like walking around like, hey, baby, you don't know about the Skulls? Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about, brother. Nobody knows about the Skulls. Until you get into the first scene, and everyone knows about the Skulls. Joshua Jackson wants to be a Skull. So, right away, you're not a secret organization. You're just a fraternity, who I guess is above the law. You're like, uh-oh, red flag number one, and we just fucking started. There is one really cool scene where Joshua Jackson, he's a hustler, all right? He's a hustler. He comes from the mean streets of wherever the fuck they are. He's a mean, nasty kid. This guy used to run around with the riffraff. Oh my God, he had the hardest white boys that he used to kick it with. Stealing cars and other things, I guess. Like, you see him on his bike going to college. This is such bad writing. He's on his bike. His homies pop up. His white-ass homies. And they're like, what's up, college boy? Oh, you're too good to kick it with us. You need to go kick it with your books. Now, that's not verbatim, but it might as well have been. It was just as cheesy. And then you're like, oh my God. Right before that, he's slopping it up. Because, he's a stray. He's Aladdin. He's a street rat. This brother, he picked himself up by his bootstraps, and he got himself a college degree. And he went in there, and he's slinging fucking food and oatmeal to the other rich Ivy League cunts that he goes to college with. So one kid is like, hey man, can you make sure that you get most of, if not all of the oatmeal in the bowl this time? Now the rich kid is being somewhat of a prick. Actually, he's being quite a big prick. However, he's got a good point. How did you not get the oatmeal in the bowl? You have one job, stupid, and it's to scoop the oatmeal and put it in the bowl. I don't want to eat I don't want to be scooping up remnants of oatmeal and putting it back in my bowl or trying to eat it off of the tray. Okay? So he's right. You're wrong. Bad customer service. So then the main blonde girl you might have seen from this last season of White Lotus, I don't remember her name. She makes fun of him for being a dick to Joshua Jackson. So he calls her, the main guy, or the Ivy League boy, oatmeal boy, calls her a bitch. So then Joshua Jackson grabs him by his collar and was like, he threatens him. You should have better manners than that. You better apologize to the lady. And the guy is freaked out and apologizes and then scurries away because Joshua Jackson is going to beat him up. Oh my God. Anyway, so then Joshua Jackson does this crew meet. He's this big meet for his college, where they're trying to, I don't know. Where they row. They do the rowing. He goes to one of those colleges where they do the rowing, and they win. And it was actually a really exciting scene. Everything after that, it goes right back to absolute dog shit. He's got one best friend, and then this girl that he goes to college with. His best friend is like the guy who's like going stroke, stroke at the front of the boat. They've known each other a long time. After they win, he starts telling him, like, man, you don't want to be a skull. You don't want to be a skull. Plus, he's such a sought after commodity for these secret organizations that he's been asked by every single one of the secret organizations, and he's turned them all down because he just so badly wants to be a skull. Because the skulls will put him up and make his life way easier. They'll pay for his transcripts to go to law school, I think is where he wants to go. He makes this whole elevator pitch to his best friend, why it's actually better for him to be a skull than to not be a skull. Because if he gets out of this school, he goes to law school. I think he wants to go to like Yale or Harvard Law or whatever, and so it's a whole new set of problems, and it's a whole new set of debt that he then will, once he finally gets through school and he's got to take the bar exam, so now he's a lawyer, and he's got to then it's not done after that, because then you have to fucking go get clients and build up your clientele and make money that way, and then you're still going to be drowning in debt from all of the colleges that you went to. And by being a skull washes all that away. He gets shot to the tip top. They pay for all his shit. It's actually a really good reason for wanting to join this secret organization. And the best friend agrees with it. Like, by the end, he's like, yeah, I get it. Okay, sure. That night, Joshua Jackson gets a call from the Skull, and they tell him he's got 40 seconds to make it to a payphone outside. So he fucking hops on his bike and he takes off as fast as lightning. I mean, he is going very fast. He then gets to the payphone and they go 20 seconds to this room, lose the bike. So he gets on, he starts running, and then he gets to this room where he finds a cell phone that's ringing, that's hanging off of a recreation of Mercury, hanging from the ceiling. He pulls that off. They go, drink this liquid. He drinks this liquid. While he's drinking the liquid, someone's taking photos of him. Could be anybody, right? So then he passes out, wakes up in a coffin. They need to go steal a mascot from a rival college or whatever. So him and Paul Walker, that's how they become close friends. So Paul Walker and Joshua Jackson become good buddies. But again, he was about to eat pizza with his best friend and his girl best friend, who he's obviously in love with. They're obviously in love with each other. They're gonna hook up. And so he comes back from that night of stealing this weather vane that's shaped like a snake, and he's still waiting to hear if he's a skull. But the rules of being a skull are you can't talk about the shit that you've done, and they all know that. The girl knows that, and the best friend who wants to be like this gotcha journalist, he also knows this. And from what I've been shown, him being a skull is perfectly fucking harmless. So he comes home, and right away, his best friend is like, where were you? What were you doing? What's going on? Starts grilling him. And Joshua Jackson's like, I don't know if I'm a fucking skull. Even if I was, I can't tell you that. So get off my jock, bro. And the guy starts a fight, shoves Joshua Jackson, tells him that it's like, if you can't tell me what you're doing or where you're going or what's going on, we're not fucking friends. Fuck you, bro. We're fucking done. And you're like, wait, what? What are you talking about? What? He spent one night out. All of a sudden you have this big reservation And you're like, oh, the secrecy, it's just too much. He was gone. He was like, you took off like a bat out of hell, and then you come back and you can't tell me what you did. And it's like, it's part of being in a secret fucking society. What do you want? That's rule number 1. Have you never seen Fight Club? That's the first 2 rules. First rule, you can't talk about it. Second rule, you can't talk about it. Stop asking me fucking questions. Why are you giving me so much heat? It's like, it comes out of fucking nowhere. It feels like a scene that should have happened way later in the movie, but they didn't have enough time to build that animosity. So they just fucking made the guy angry that he can't be in the inner circle. He then tells him, we're not friends, fuck you, and he takes off in a huff. Then the girlfriend, or the girl best friend, she's also upset at Joshua Jackson for how he acted in the room. The next day, he gives her flowers and tells him that he's sorry for how he acted. But he didn't fucking do anything! He didn't do anything wrong! So you're like, what are you fucking apologizing for? He started a fight with you, shoved you, and left. What the fuck were you supposed to do? Why do you have to apologize to her about anything? You never brought her in the middle of it to begin with. What the fuck is going on? It just is like a scene that doesn't make sense. He didn't do anything wrong, yet he needs to grovel for their attention back to be their friends. It's like, I equate it to this movie is like, you know how like Interview with the Vampire is a vampire movie for adults, and Twilight is a vampire movie for kids. So like if you think about it the same way, like a movie like The Firm, that's like about about like conspiracy theories and cover-ups, and it's very adult themed. That's what The Skulls is, the Twilight version of that, where none of it makes sense. The melodrama is in it, but it doesn't fucking make any sense. So he finally gets to become a skull, right? He gets to become a skull. Him and Paul Walker are skulls. By the way, they don't know if they're going to be skulls. They all go through this trial period. Then they still leave the room not knowing if they're going to be skulls. And you wonder, oh, what else is the vetting process? There is no vetting process. They're a skull. Everyone that was in the room before, you're a fucking skull. It feels like anybody can be a fucking skull, as long as you're white. If you're white, you could be a skull. So they go into a room. They give you a key. This key gets you into the room. It belongs in this book. The book has all our rules. Yada yada yada. Right. So you have so it's all this set up. Meanwhile, Joshua Jackson's best buddy, his ex-best friend, is now on a hunt to try to figure out what happens behind the walls of the not so secret society of the Skulls. Best possible way to do that is to attack Paul Walker, of all people. This guy who's done nothing wrong to anyone. Also, the Skulls, mind you, have also done nothing wrong to anyone. Yet there's this big expose. There's not even a hint that these guys have covered anything up. There's no talk of a conspiracy theory about what the Skulls do, or what they've done in the past, or what they're like, or how they are. Truly, all that's ever said about the Skulls is that they make great men, essentially. You can become the president if you are a Skull. You can get into these 6-figure jobs. You can become fucking a billionaire. There's no hint that there's any investigation that needs to happen. There's no reason for the best friend to go on a fucking Woodward and Bernstein hunt for the fucking Watergate secrets of the Skulls. And he does it anyway. He breaks the law to do it, which is just like it's like brazen. He breaks into Paul Walker's car, takes his book, gets his key, goes to the Skull lair to document what the fucking walls look like. He doesn't even break in when there's a fucking meeting happening to see what they're talking about. He goes in when no one's fucking there. So Paul Walker goes to Joshua Jackson and he's like, hey man, he doesn't even tell him that somebody broke into his car and took his key, which could have then led Joshua Jackson to be like, maybe my fucking crazy psycho bipolar best friend is going on a fucking rampage right now. Let me go talk to him, since he seems to have a huge problem with Paul Walker for some reason and a huge problem with the skulls. Truly, like I forgot to bring that up. The best friend brings up Paul Walker's character out of fucking nowhere. And that right at that moment, Paul Walker calls Joshua Jackson to be like, you're a skull, dog. We family now. Pull up the Coronas. And the friend picks up the phone to be like, it's fucking Paul Walker. Here you go. Here's your new best friend. Fuck you, you traitor bitch. And it's just like, you are so overreacting. So he goes in there. So Paul Walker's like, hey man, can I get your key? Why do you need his key? What do you need his key for? Why would you need that? Do they have spares? Like, it's never actually said. So then Paul Walker goes in at the same time Joshua Jackson's buddy is in there documenting what the walls look like, and that the fact there's war carved on the main side of the wall. And you're like, oh, okay, so you just needed his key so you could go and meet up at this location at the same time, so there could be this huge, giant misunderstanding that leads to just some of the dumbest whodunit murder scene you've ever fucking seen. He's like, Paul Walker's like, you're gonna give me my book, you're gonna give me my key, and then nothing else is gonna happen to you. Cuts to black. Joshua Jackson goes to check on his homie. He's hanging. He killed himself. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess. And so something bad happened during the time that they were together, and he got hurt, so they had to cover it up. So now the Skulls have done something bad. Something bad has happened. The Skulls are a part of it. Now there is a reason to investigate the Skulls. This would be a perfect opportunity to have the friend character let's say somebody else killed it. Make it someone else. Someone else is killed themselves, and the best friend doesn't buy it. Joshua Jackson is too caught up in the fact that he's rich now, and he's driving fancy cars, and he's meeting beautiful women, and he's going to fancy dinners. This kid from the mean streets of wherever the fuck, from Sesame Street as far as I know, this kid who's like never seen the finer side of life is like he's got rose-colored glasses on. So truly, there's no way the Skulls could have done this when they have all the means in the world to pull off something like the cover-up of a murder, make it look like a suicide. This would be the perfect opportunity to have an investigative journalism character go and investigate what may or may not have been a murder. Except they killed the fucking character who was doing the investigating. What the fuck? It's truly just some of the most dumb ass backwards writing in a movie I have ever seen. And it just slowly gets to a point. I'm not going to go through the whole movie. I just needed to cover just the first chunk, because the rest of it is just everyone thinks they're all trying to pin it on Joshua Jackson, and now he's trying to get out of it. So then he employs his fucking scumbag, poor criminal friends to help him, and they're very, they're very industrious because they have to get their hands dirty because they're poor white kids from the street. And they're playing fucking songs from like the newest Creed album. Oh my god, it really sent me back when they're like, can you take me higher? And it was like right at the time when like all these beautiful women are coming in to go like sleep with all these old white guys. And you're like, what the fuck? Why this song? Anyway, it culminates and gets to a point where Joshua Jackson reads the rule book that they've given him at the beginning of the movie. Turns out that he could offer a duel to anyone in the Skulls, and they can either accept or decline, but he has the ability to do that.
A duel.
I couldn't believe it. Truly, I was like, this movie is dumb. It's not, we're gonna duel dumb. What the fuck? It's like, I can duel anyone in this room. I want to duel Paul Walker. And then Paul Walker's dad is like, I'll take his place. Sorry. Rule fucking 15B column 2 says that your daddy can't take your place. It like says that in the movie. Your daddy can't take your place. If I say I want to kill your son with pistols and your dad's like, I'll do it. I'll be in his sorry. There's a rule. You can't do it. Sorry. How often was that happening? How often were they like,
we gotta fucking kill these kids.
And the dads are like, you can't kill my son. Kill me instead. And they're like,
we gotta put a rule in. We gotta put a rule in. There's no fucking way we're gonna be. I'm trying to kill these kids, man. I'm tired of burying all these dead daddies. We gotta kill some of these kids. Daddies they can't take part in a duel no more. Sorry, it's part of the rule book, baby.
And it has to be unanimous, so that means like a ton of dads are like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm not taking a bullet for my kid. Clack. What the fuck? And then they do the duel, and then Paul Walker he's like gonna shoot Joshua Jackson, but Joshua Jackson's like, tell him what really happened in the room. What happened to what's his name? You didn't actually kill him. It was blah 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 blah. Yada yada. So then like fucking Paul Walker's dad's like, I've heard enough. Goes to pull a pistol and killed Joshua Jackson, but then Paul Walker shoots his dad in the shoulder, and his dad, who's been putting all this pressure on Paul Walker, was like, You're not worth the trouble anyway, and shames his son so badly that he decides to grab another different pistol, walk back to his marker, and kill himself in front of everybody. And you're like, why? Why would you just shot your dad in the shoulder. Why would you kill yourself? Finish the job, you fucking pussy. So, Joshua Jackson tags him to the ground. He doesn't kill himself, and then he's like, oh, you have so much more to live for, blah 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 blah. Even though you were part of the cover-up that killed his friend. Oh my god. The skulls. What a fucking hunk of shit. It's Throwback Thursday, my friends. Go back and watch The Skulls if you want yourself a hearty laugh. I know that I've spoiled most of the movie, but there is so much more that is hilarious that I didn't cover. Like some of the staff that are high up that work at the school that are like facilitators for, the students and whatnot, the student body, are also the henchmen for the Skulls. And you're like, how does an organization this shitty become so powerful? Like, Joshua Jackson dismantled them pretty easily. It was insanity. My God, what a nightmare of a movie, but also probably one of the top 10 funniest comedies I've seen in a while. So if we're going to talk about it being like a straight thriller, I'm going to go 2 out of 10, maybe even 1.5. But if we're talking about a fucking a masterclass in comedy, then this gets 10s, brother. This is a 10 out of 10. And that's been my movie review.